some reason, there we go. Kick us on the way. For some reason, on this scene for OBS, my mic was muted. I don't know why it was, but now it should be better. Returns up to about the 31-yard line. Goes to show how prepared I was for the. No, it's all good. Say Luis Perez. Seeing the field once again. Okay. There we go. Okay, cool. So Perez in shotgun, a back to his left. Ball on the 31-yard line. See, first play of the game. Going to hand it off, trying to get towards the outside, going to push forward for about 4 yards on the play. Solid power run in there by Devion Smith. Okay, they gave him a gain of 3 on the play. So, 2nd and 7. Making adjustments at the line. Going to go under center. With a back in the backfield. Faking it. Trying to get an end around going. And it gets blown up back at the 25-yard line. Try to get an end around for Jawan Manigo going. And it's just nowhere to be seen. Read like a fucking book. It wasn't a good play action for it either. And he gets tackled. That might be back near the 24. A loss of 9 on the play. Not how you want to start. As it's 3rd and 16. In shotgun, back to his right. 3 receivers out left. So ball in the 25. They're going to look back to pass. Perez throw in down the field. Past the 6. Is going to be caught for the first down. To about the 44-yard line. That is Tyler Vaughn's on the reception. Good job picking up the 3rd and a long. Just a very simple corner route past the sticks, does it? So again, last year this was the XFL Championship game, and that one Tyler Vaughn went off. In shotgun, back to his left. 3 receivers out left. Going to play action, looking outside. Ball's tipped at the line. Ball is tipped by Malik Fisher. So it will be 2nd down. So for 2nd and 10. I mean, who knows? Tyler Boyd might be seeing himself in the UFL soon if he can't get a contract. 5 wide, looking to throw, going to quick pass it outside. Caught, trying to get upfield, but slips to about the 50. That's Tyler Vaughn once again for a gain of 5. I know. They ruled a gain of 6. First off. Second off, I'm shocked Tyler Boyd hasn't signed anywhere yet. I know I'm kind of in, like, maybe not the minority, but I'm higher on Tyler Boyd than a lot of people are. Because I think he could be a really solid receiver 3 for a team, or a receiver 2. 3rd and 4 is shotgun, 3 receivers out left, going to look to pass. Throw in is going to be caught, and barely gets the first down. That's Tyler Vaughn once again for a gain of about 5. I could see. I don't know. I just think Tyler Boyd should be on the team by now. He's a quality receiver. Like a team like Carolina could really use him. Perez is gonna look back to pass, throwing over the middle. Receiver slips and is nearly picked. Yeah, Tyler Boyd belongs in the NFL. He should be able to find a team, but he's probably just waiting for after the draft because again, this is a deep receiver draft, so they're probably just waiting to see how the landscape looks after it to decide which team will give him the playing time he probably wants. Second and 10, three receivers to the left. Perez in shotgun. Need to get the snap off. They do. Looking to throw. Trying to throw it quickly over the middle. It is caught for a gain of about 7. So it's more so a slant sit route. Get 7 yards on the play to make it third and short. So third and 3, 10:07 left in the first. Perez under center. A little bit of a tighter formation. Going to play action pass, looking to throw. Has time in the pocket, throws it down the field, and incomplete. Nearly an incredible one-handed grab by Isaiah Winstead, but just out of his reach. Yeah, it's so Arlington's look like they're going to go for it. Yeah, Arizona, Carolina, um, maybe Tampa. I don't know how Tampa feels about their receiver room. I also don't know a lot of Tampa's receiver, and they still got Chris Godwin, so maybe not. Anyway, Perez alone in the backfield, shotgun, 5 wide. Ball is on the 38-yard line, so just out of field goal range, it seems. 5 seconds on the play clock. Need to get it off. They do. Looking to throw. Perez throw in. The camera does not follow the ball, but it's going to be ruled incomplete. Intended for Tyler Vaughn. He gets just out of the reach. Perez gets hit kind of low, but no flag, so DC makes a stand on fourth down. Yeah, just too far outside for the receiver to get 2 feet in. So that'll bring us to commercial. Carolina, Arizona. I would take Tyler Boyd in Miami as a receiver 3. Like there's options for him. Again, the draft is going to depict a lot of it. Yeah, the cameraman fucked. I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe he was kind of expecting because I don't know. I don't know why he didn't follow the ball. Maybe he just didn't see it leave his hands and thought it was gonna be a sack. It was incomplete anyway. It's not like we missed a spectacular catch. Yeah. The thing with how this draft class is looking for the NFL, it's gonna be offensive. Like there's gonna be a ton of quality undrafted talent, which means the UFL is also going to eat. Like if this draft is truly as deep as people say it is, the UFL should have no issue finding quality talent for next season. Which is great for the league. But also it means that the NFL like, teams have no excuse for trying to like still build a competitive team despite injuries. We saw we saw last year how the Browns handled things. I know it wasn't necessarily injuries to skill positions per se, but the difference between the Browns and the Jets and how they each handled a quarterback going down, like with how deep this class is, any like serviceable quarterback is going to be able to step into a team and should find success if they build a team properly. College football should be good this year. The spring games have started. I've watched a few of them, or at least I've kept up with a few of the spring games as best as I can. Some teams are looking good. Some teams are looking good. I mean, it's definitely like the Browns especially showed defense wins championships. Or like defense is the priority still for building a team because they won a lot of their games last year because of the defense. Meanwhile, the Jets, who everyone says have a top of the line defense, still couldn't win shit. Anyway, Tiami went shotgun back to his left, and they might have gotten Arlington to jump to begin the drive. And they cut from the refs as he's about to make the announcement to go to the VP of replay review. Because they're talking about what probably could have been roughing the passer on that fourth down. So 1st and 15 is going to be false start. Yeah, ours was yesterday. I could hand. Tom was gonna keep it himself up the middle, no gain. But, ours was yesterday, and I was thinking about going, ended up not going, as there's a player down on the field that is Brilly Moore, who made an incredible touchdown grab last week. They gave Tiamu a gain of 1 on the QB keeper, so it'll be 2nd and 14. But yeah, I was thinking about going to the spring game. I planned to go to the spring game. Completely fucking forgot it was a thing until last night. Until like 11 p.m. I got notifications like, oh yeah, the spring game happened. I'm like, oh, yeah, I was supposed to be at that. It's whatever. I'm excited though for the upcoming college season. I plan to be more involved with at least going to the games. I didn't go to a lot last year just because scheduling and everything. It's tough to make that drive out. Tiamu and shotgun back to his left, sending a man in motion. Going to be 2 receivers out right, going to hand it off, trying to get some separation to the outside. Going to pick up about 4, get back to the initial line of scrimmage, so it would be 3rd and 10. That is Cameron Harris on the carry. Yeah. Because once the season gets unfolding for college, that's also when I get the busiest, so it's hard for me to make the games. 3rd and 10, Tamu looking to throw. Pump fakes, trying to escape the pocket. He does, has zoomed right, then throws it down the field for the first down and more. Caught at about the plus 40. That is Kelvin Harmon on the reception. Good job by Jordan Teamu to make a play there. He pump faked it to a receiver that was completely blanketed in double coverage. Okay. Tiamu going to play action, look to throw outside. Air mails his intended target of Kelvin Harmon. It'll be 2nd and 10. There are a few college games this upcoming season I'm making sure to find the time to go to. I'll probably tell you about it later, just because I'm still trying to figure out the details exactly of it, so it's not guaranteed. But I have the idea. Anyway, 2nd and 10. Tiamu and shotgun back to his right. Going to play action, looking to throw. Already trying to escape pressure. He's going to be taken down back by the 50. One ref signaling the 48. One is signaling past the 50. It was going to be a 3rd and a long. An 11-yard sack on the play. Pushes DC well behind the sticks. So 7 minutes left in the first. 3rd and 21. Tiamu under center. Gonna play action, looking to throw as a man unblocked on the left side. Gets rid of it to Cameron Harris, who's going to get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard more, down to about the 36-yard line. So we'll be fourth and about 9. Great play on third and long to try to create something there. It nearly worked, but I think DC is sending out the punting unit. I don't know. They're inside the 40. Definitely sending out some special teams. They're sending out the field goal unit. So going to attempt a long field goal to try to take the lead. 54-yard attempt, left hash, kick is up. And straight through. DC takes the early 3-0 lead. So, it's still that same thing with DC's offense. They have a few good plays, but for the most part, just stall out. The offensive line did not play well though in that series of or on that final 3 plays. I hate how there's no NBA today, but I get it. I'm trying to get all the hype for tomorrow. Speaking of, yeah, the way tiebreakers work in the NBA, I'm not sure if you saw what I said earlier about that. Yeah. So as long as the Heat, if as long as the Heat win and those other 3 teams lose, so the Sixers, the Pacers, and the Magic, they're the 5 seed. The Heat would be the 5 seed because the way to make it so division winners still matter is they have the high that's the highest tiebreaker. It's over head to head, it's over conflict. If you win the division, that's the tie breaking win for like a guaranteed tie breaking win. So because of how well Boston has been playing, as well as Milwaukee, yeah, but because of how well Boston's been playing, it gives the Heat the advantage over Philly and I believe Indiana. And then they already have the advantage over, and then they would have the advantage over the Magic with a win and Magic loss. Because that right there would set up a Heat division win. But all those games happening at all those games happening at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Man, it sucks. Because I'm gonna keep my eye on them. Obviously, it's mainly just because that first game tomorrow. Although it's going to be like the play-by-play is going to be fun and everything. It's going to be fun to watch some football, but it's going to be a defensive focus game to begin the day tomorrow. So like I'm probably going to find a way to at least have the Heat game also on, just to keep an eye on it. But coming back from commercial, DC has the early 3-0 lead as they have the sideline reporter coming out of the dugout at Choctaw Stadium. So, the new Rangers Stadium is Globe Life Park, if I'm not mistaken. I don't keep up with MLB enough to fully know that. Why doesn't that have the grass batter's eye as Choctaw did for them? Because the one fun thing about those Rangers games back when it was at that stadium at Choctaw was seeing the fans run out onto that onto I'm fucking cannot speak to run it out onto it as the kick is underway. Going to be returned from about the 13 and going to has some space on the outside, trying to get towards the outside. He breaks 2 tackles, gets down the sideline to about the 46-yard line. A great return for Arlington. Maybe we'll at the 45, but either way, it sets up Arlington nice. So, last drive, it was a pretty solid drive for Arlington last time out. They turned the ball over on downs, but now they have a chance here to keep building off his. It was still a drive you can build off of. As Perez is in shotgun, it back to his right, 2 receivers out to the right as well. DC looking like they might be sending some pressure off the left side. They do going to play action, throw it quickly towards the flat, trying to make some people miss, and is going to lose a yard on the play instead. That was Sal Cananella on the reception, and kind of just a panicked throw there from Luis Perez. So it will make it 2nd and 11. Yeah, 2nd and 11. Perez in shotgun, in a short shotgun, back behind him, going to play action, looking to throw. Having time, throws it over the middle, caught for a gain of about 8 on the play. That is Tyler Vaughns once again on the reception to make it a 3rd and short. With 4:45 left in the first. As it looks like Lindsey Scott is going to take the field to give Arlington some kind of mobility factor on this play. Looking to pick up the first down on 3rd and 2. Lindsey Scott in shotgun, a back to each side. 7 seconds left on the play clock. Going to get the snap. Keeping himself up the middle, gets the first down and bulldozes for a few extra down to about the plus 42-yard line. So 4:10 left in the first. Simple read option. And yeah, he bulldozes. That was Farrad Gardner on the tackle, and it kind of gets a little bulldoze there. Well, thanks, Cameron. I really do appreciate it. As Lindsey Scott is still in shotgun, 2 backs, a back to each side, going to keep it, looking to throw over the middle, caught, gets past the 6, try to get past the 30, tackled at about the 31. That's Tyler Vaughns once again. Yeah, welcome aboard. I know it's my yeah. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome aboard. Enjoy the ride. Play about. The game so far is it's going kind of how I expected. Arlington, I did kind of expect to score in their first drive. They came close, but now they have ball near the 30. Perez is back in the game and shotgun it back to his right. Going to hand it off up the middle, gets to the 30, trying to push forward. Maybe he gets to the 28-yard line, it seems, from the far judge. So a gain of about 3 from a really, really crowded up the middle run. And Arlington's going hurry up. Perez back in shotgun, 3 receivers to the right, a back to his right. Ball on about the 28.5-yard line. Making adjustments at the line with 2.5 left in the first. Perez going to look to throw. Steps up. Going to throw it. Quick dump off to the running back to get out to about the 23-yard line. That was Letty Brown on the reception to make it third and short. And Lindsey Scott is entering the game once again to give Arlington just that extra factor of speed. It is interesting to see how many teams are utilizing a 2 QB system in the UFL. As on 3rd and 2, ball on the 23-yard line, Lindsey Scott in shotgun it back to his right. Going to keep it himself, trying to get up the middle. Fights forward to about the 20-yard line. That's going to be a first down for Arlington. Really playing it risky by doing these runs up the middle. But gets enough for the first, so Luis Perez is coming right back in on 1st and 10. So yeah, Arlington isn't necessarily doing a 2 QB system in the same way Birmingham is. I think so. I might need to look into it. I believe he is the same Lindsey Scott. As Perez and shotgun back to his left. 2 seconds left on the play clock. They get it off. Going to do an end around or like a touch pass, trying to break some tackles. Instead, going to get tripped up after getting about 2 on the play. That is Jawan Manigo on the reception. Maybe the way Arlington is running their 2 QB system is different than Birmingham, and I think it's less, I want to say less effective, as you're pointing out that Luis Perez was on the 2018 Rams. Cool. It's interesting because it's that 3rd and short, it's that 3rd and short. They want to get that speed factor in there. They're using Lindsey Scott as a gadget guy. As Perez is going to hand it off, looking to the left side. That's Letty Brown who's going to get stuffed at the line, basically. Arlington is using their 2 QB system in a way that reminds me of how the Dolphins try to utilize Pat White. Damn. As that's the end of the first quarter. Going from LSU to Incarnate World. Explains why he's in the UFL, I guess. I got nothing wrong with Incarnate World. I guess he probably just was looking for playing time then. But yeah, the way Arlington is utilizing Lindsey Scott though as that kind of a gadget quarterback, it does remind me it reminds me more so of the way Miami used Pat White than the way New Orleans is utilizing Taysom Hill. For those who don't know, in the 2009 season primarily, Pat White would come in from Miami whenever they wanted to use some kind of like a weird combination from Wildcat to like end around to like just misdirection, reverses, read options, because they were able to use Pat White for that instead of Chad Pennington or Chad Henne. So Pat White was used as that gadget guy to just give another element to the offense. They're using Lindsey Scott for that similar way. I hope that Lindsey Scott doesn't turn out to be similar to Pat White, because Pat White, because of the way he was being used, he was just getting laid out play after play. But it's working for Arlington. They're definitely utilizing him differently enough from how Pat White was used, but still in a similar fashion to where it gives him an extra element. He can still pass the ball if he wants, but for the most part, he comes in to read options and just give that extra space. I feel like that's the case with a lot of the UFL quarterbacks, where they bounced around in college because they just couldn't find playing time, and once they did, it was at a smaller school, and there just wasn't enough eyes on him. So now they're at the UFL to try to like get the eyes back, and then you have Matt Corral, who was a 3rd round pick but was drafted by Carolina, so it was pretty much doomed from the start. The NFL draft, April 25th. And, like, I feel like we know decently about how the draft's going to play out. At the same time, I feel like we also know nothing at all. But that's the NFL draft for you. So yeah, back from commercial, we're entering the second. He went undrafted, makes sense. Perez in shotgun, back to his left, three receivers out to the right, ball on the 19-yard line, 3rd and 9. Making adjustments at the line, shifting the tight end in onto as a man on the line of scrimmage, looking to throw. Perez throwing left side and towards the end zone, and it is caught. Tyler Vaughn with with a great reception, jumping over the top of the defender, and it gives Arlington the lead. Beautifully placed ball from Luis Perez. A place where only his receiver, not only, a place where it was pretty much going to be his receiver or going to be hit or going to be knocked loose. Great placement on the throw. Great job by Tyler Vaughn to catch it at its highest point. And Arlington has the lead. Yeah. Just a great throw. It's just very simple. It's just a simple fly route. So Arlington's now going to go for 2 from the 5 as Lindsey Scott is in the game. A back to his right in shotgun, going to keep it and trying to escape from instant pressure, unable to. So it's going to be sacked. And it's going to be a 6-3 game with DC getting the ball back. So one play into the second quarter, and Arlington was able to gain the lead for the first time today and bounce back from a disappointing first drive. Yeah, so now DC needs to respond. Again, their offense, I mentioned it earlier in the week. They're inconsistent. If they're going to win today, they need to gain that consistency from the offense. And I think they can. It's going to be up to if Jordan Ta'amu can fix those accuracy issues. So it is Taylor Russolino preparing to send it away to Chris Rowland. There's the kick. It's going to be return starting at about the 12-yard line, getting out past the 30, trying to create some room, gets tackled at about the 39, 38-yard line. So Jordan Ta'amu will start from there. One thing I've been meaning to check. I feel like I recognize the name Taylor Russolino. Don't fully know why, but I feel like I recognize that name. No, I don't know why I recognize. Why do I recognize? Oh, because he played for Denver in 2020. That's probably why. Ta'amu with shotgun back to his left. 2 receivers out to the left. Going to hand it off, trying to create some space to the outside. Going to get past the line of scrimmage. Gain of about 2, maybe 3 on the plays. That's Cameron Harris. So yeah, gain of 2 is going to be 2nd and 8. Trying to spread out Arlington's defense, but in a way that typically doesn't work to spread out a defense. So Ta'amu now in shotgun, 5 wide receiver set, looking to throw. Arlington sending a blitz up the middle and he gets rid of it, throws it behind his intended target of Kelvin Harmon, so it's going to be incomplete. I do recognize the name Taylor Russolino, getting played in Denver in 2020. It's not the kicker I was thinking of, who went to FSU, then played in Tampa, who I think has a similar name. Because I was thinking maybe that was him, but no, it's a different kicker I was thinking of. As 3rd and 8, Ta'amu in shotgun back to his right, going to look to throw. Going to escape the pocket to the left, has room to run, he's going to keep it himself. and tackled just shy of the first down. Gain of about 7 on the play. So on 4th and 1 from about midfield, we'll see what DC decides to do. Here, it looks like they're going to send out the punting unit. Oh boy, there's that DC offense I was worried about. Oh, Bussolino also played in St. Louis in 2020. That's probably more so how I recognize him. So the punt comes off clean and is going to be returned for going to be let bounced into the end zone for a touchback. So Arlington's gonna have good field position to begin their next drive. But you know the kicker I'm talking about. He went to FSU, was drafted pretty highly. I know he ended up in Tampa. I should gotta look through Tampa's roster real quick to be able to find it, I guess. Yeah, I more so know him from the Battlehawks of 2020. That's definitely where I would probably know him more so. Who's the kicker I'm thinking about? I think it's from a similar time frame of like that 20 like it might have been like 2018. Hold on. We're at commercial, not missing anything. I'm just quickly trying to find a kicker. Uh, uh, show kickers on. Okay. Who am I thinking about here? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was not Caro Santos. Uh, it's gonna bother me that I can't think of this kicker now. Roberto Aguayo is who I was thinking about. Because he had a very solid, yeah, he went to FSU and all that. That's who I was thinking about. Yeah, because he didn't miss a single kick in college, and then he gets to the NFL, he has a solid. He gets to the NFL, kicks 71% in field goals, and then just out of the league after 2016. Roberto Aguayo, that's who I was thinking about. So not really a similar name. No, had the nickname Mister Perfect because again he did not miss a single kick in college. And it's not like he disappointed in the NFL either. He had 71% of his kicks. I don't know why he's just completely done with like completely out of any league at this point. Like he should still be kicking. Anyway, we're getting back from commercial. Arlington can extend their lead here now. What is before we get to the first play of Arlington's drive? Let me figure out what's going on. All right. So Perez in a short shotgun, back behind him, a receiver to each side. Send the man in motion. They're going to hand it off. Has space on the right side, trying to bounce it outside for really no reason. Only gains 3 on the play instead. He hasn't been. He was on New England's practice squad for a bit, but besides that, hasn't done much. Second and 6, ball on the 29-yard line. Perez under center, two receivers to the left, a back in the backfield. 12 and a half left in the half. Perez going to hand it off, trying to get stuff going up the middle. Pushes forward for a gain of about 4. That was Devion Smith on the carry to make it a third and short. Kickers and running backs, I'm realizing, are like teams are not scared to replace them at the snap of a finger. But like you have teams where they replace the kicker, and then the kicker goes somewhere else, and it's now a Hall of Famer, or now he's a potential Hall of Famer. Like the Bears let Robbie Gould go, and then he had a great career in San Francisco, and is now a legend there. Like as on 3rd and 2, going to try handing it off, finds space up the middle for the first down, gain of 3 as Devion Smith. But it's like just like every position though, a kicker needs time to adjust between the difference of a college football and an NFL football. And yes, there is a difference. It's it's just weird how short the leash some positions have compared to others. 1st and 10, Perez in shotgun, a back to his left. Send a tight end motion to make it 3 receiving options to the right. Going to fake it up the middle, fake it end around, throwing across the middle, and nearly intercepted a dangerous pass. Francis Bernard had his hands on it. But Tyler Vaughns plays great defensive offense to break up the interception. So it's not going to be 2nd and 10. It's also not just because kicker. I don't know exactly the difference between college kicker balls and NFL kicker balls, as those have differences as well. Real quick, Perez alone in the backfield, 5 wide, looking to throw. Gonna throw it quick over the middle. He's caught, has room to run, going to get about 11 on the play for the first down. That is Deontay Burnett. Because yeah, like there's difference between the actual game ball and the kicker ball, and there's difference between college and NFL. I know the difference between there's definitely the leather of a kicker ball is a lot more broken in to begin with. I don't know if it's exactly the difference between college kicker ball and professional kicker ball, but I'm assuming there's a difference there as well. It's Perez is under center, back in the backfield, going to hand it off, trying to get some space towards the left side, gains about a yard. Devion Smith on the carry. But like but the difference in footballs aside, kicker is one of those positions where you can only truly get better by having the game time experience, because you need to because of the way how like the line of scrimmage and everything works. You need to like there's a difference between like kicking on air than kicking in an actual game. Same thing with throwing. As Perez is going to was in shotgun, try to get a playoff. Doesn't get a playoff in time. There was movement up front, so this could be a false start, encroachment, whatever. It's gonna be delay of game in Arlington. Okay, so I spent like a week, one winter break a few years ago, where none of like my receivers or anyone was really available. So I spent it with a group of kickers, and I would get my throws in by throwing their kicker balls back. Man, it was not easy to throw those. As Perez is in shotgun, back to his left, 3 receivers right, going to look to throw, stepping up, trying to create some separation in the pocket. Gets it off, just too high for Deontay Burnett to be incomplete, 3rd and 14. Maybe it's like it's like because with the way a regular football, like a actual like quarterback ball, I'm just gonna call it quarterback ball because. Eh, it has a proper leather feel to it that makes it preferred flying in a spiral. Kicker balls are designed to fly the end over end, so they're more oblong. If they're not like as streamlined, so it's tougher to get a full grip on this. Third and 14, he's gonna throw it quickly over the middle, trying to hook and ladder play, and is going to get the first down and more as the Devion Smith is breaking tackles for the first down. Arlington runs a hook and ladder to get the first. Wow, what a play call. Are you kidding me? DC played prevent all the way, and Arlington, man, just simple hook and ladder. That's that's a ballsy call. Perez under center, back in the backfield, going to hand it off up the middle, finds the hole and pushes forward for about 6, maybe 7. Yeah, it's weird the ins and outs of the of equipment. It's so particular because like even like the the style of football, not style, but the feel of a football that like the Dolphins might use could be completely different from what the Bengals use because the way the football is broken in as Arlington's going to hand it off up the middle for the first down and a little more gain of about 6. Each quarterback has a different preference to how the ball is broken in and is pumped up. So no team's footballs are the same. Some might like more mud on it. Some might like it as the top of the pressure window. In Tom Brady's case, he elected closer towards the end, and because of how science works, they went below the required window. As going to be a false start on first and 10, so Arlington's going to move back 5. So yeah, the whole thing with Deflategate was Tom Brady preferred his footballs because there's like a 1 psi window where an NFL ball can be pumped up to. Brady preferred his closer towards that later end of it. So like if the window was like I think the window was 12.5 to 13.5 psi. Brady preferred his in that 12.5 to 13 range. So they would pump the balls up and then store them in a cold room. And because of the coldness, it would cause the ball to lose psi. So first and 15, Perez going to play action play action screenplay to Letty Brown, breaks a tackle, gets the yardage back from the false start. It's going to be second and 10. Yes, its PSI levels are going to be different. How much mud they use to break in the ball is going to be different. And like equipment staff people have to do this every single week. Because they get new footballs every week. They don't use the same set of footballs week in, week out. So like the footballs that were used in the game to begin the week would then be used in practice and then would get replaced for the following week's game. As on second and 10, going to hand it off up the middle, pushes forward for about 6 on the play. That is Devion Smith, right? It was Devion Smith? Yeah. On the carry to make it third and manageable. I mean, it's all a tedious process, all of it. So like I so like now imagine all of the there's 32 teams in the NFL. There's going to be obviously 32 different variations. Now imagine in college with like 100 plus variations in how the football is prepared. Having to go from equipment room to equipment room is going to be tough. As Perez in a shotgun, 3 receivers to the right, going to throw it towards the end zone. Has a man wide open. Touchdown Arlington. That's Devontae Payton on the touchdown grab. And DC broken coverage there. Gives Arlington a 12-3 lead. Yeah, because it's not just the footballs that get like changed up every week. It's also like like each after each game. Obviously, the jerseys get cleaned and washed and everything. In some cases, you need to get a whole new jersey, which is a whole complicated process on its own right. The helmet patches are never the same, either. As real quick, Lindsey Scott in on set on the 2 point try, going to try to create breaks off one would be sack, trying to run it in himself, and he dives in for the 2 point conversion. Lindsey Scott using his speed to get to the outside and dive in for the pylon. But it's also like, typically after each week, because like when helmets get dirty, it's a lot easier to just rip off the stickers, clean, and then repaint it, and then put the stickers back on, or get a new or get a new set of stickers. So like it's equipment people. I'm sure you've heard the quote of from Dion. You look good, you feel good, you feel good, you play good. And that that's all. Not only is it like pregame attire and like health and all that, but it's also like the equipment staff need to do their job correctly to make sure the players are comfortable in the uniforms. And like it's just so many reasons why like you go through some interviews of coaches or players and like especially the quarterbacks like they need to make sure to have like all the quarterbacks and like personnel of the team have good relations with the equipment staff because like they mean a hell of a lot to a team's success and a lot of people don't realize it. So yeah, we're on commercial after Arlington scored. Or like sometimes it's not even like because when Jason Kelsey retired, did you see that video of the not the lunch but like the food staff of Philly also like crying for his retirement? Because especially the O linemen, they build incredible relationships to the cafeteria staff of these NFL teams. So, yeah, like, it's that whole like ins and out thing. Yeah, exactly. No, you can wear branded accessories as long as it's your own personal brand or one. I don't know. The 200. Like, Dion has a lot of I have a lot of respect for Dion, not just because of his like two-way career, like not two-way, but like his two-sport career, or how like I want to say, or like how his coaching career has been. Like Dion, man, like, his interviews, his pressers were like he was the start. I wouldn't say the start. He gave light to a side of the NFL world that's just all about like eccentric personalities. Cause like you've had those before, you have those eccentric personalities, but it took Dion and maybe to like truly say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to be outlandish. People are going to see me because I play both football and baseball. As the kickoff is on the way, going to be returned from about the 23, going to get out past the 40, tackled about the 44. So DC will start from there. Because like recently I've been diving a little bit more into the 72 Dolphins just because why not? Mercury Morris does not get talked about enough, Not only for his on the play, not only for his play on the field, but for the shit he had to deal with off the field because of his personality. I might do a video on him at some point. Tiami with shotgun back to his right, going to hand it off, looking outside left, trying to get towards the sideline, gets pushed out of bounds after a gain of 2, maybe 3. There's a flag on the play. It's going to be holding on DC, pushing them back 10 yards. Replay a first down. So the internet and everything loves the whole conspiracy theory bullshit side of it. Originally, it was the boat image that the Giants did. It was talks about like, oh, that cursed the Giants and whatnot. Did you see people because of the eclipse be like, wait, OBJ's stats before the 2017 eclipse compared to after it? Because OBJ looked at the eclipse in 2017. As Tiami was going to play action, look to throw. Throw in right side, has a man open, is going to be caught, gets the first down, and more to about the 40-yard line, 39-yard line, I believe. That is Chris Rowland on the reception. I'm sure it's coincidence with the old OBJ eclipse stat thing, because like the Giants after 2017 just weren't a good team. As Tiamu is in shotgun looking to throw. Pump fakes, throws it deep down the field. Man has a step and just underthrows it. Maybe it was because like stats before 2017 and him looking at the eclipse. It's like this Hall of Fame trajectory stat line. And then afterwards, it's like the stat line of... I'm trying to think of a receiver to make a joke about, but I just can't for some reason. Stat line of Brian Hartline or stuff. 3 minutes left in the half. Tiamu is going to be alone in the backfield, 5 wide. 2nd and 10 ball on the plus 39. There was a flag on the play for an illegal substitution on DC. And that's going to push them back 5 yards. I don't know, there's talks that like for this free agency, there's like OBJ and Jarvis Landry are a package deal, and there's talks about that and whatnot. I'm like, if you want to say that, go for it. It's not going to help you get a contract, especially since OBJ is already asking for a lot. I mean, 2nd and 15, Tiamu in shotgun, motioning the back out wide to make it 5 wide. 3 receivers to the left, and look back to throw. Going to throw it over the middle. It is caught and tackled about the 35-yard line. That is T.Y. Scott on the reception. You'll pick up a nice gain to make it 3rd and manageable. I will say, OBJ, as we're about to hit a 2-minute warning. 3rd and 6, probably not gonna get a playoff before the 2-minute warning, I would imagine. In shotgun back to his left, and they're going to give him the snap before a 2-minute warning. Tiamu has space up the middle to keep it himself. Gets inside the 20. Slides down about the 13. I am shocked they let that play run, but they did. So we're going to reach the 2-minute warning. That was close. Be a massive hole up the middle for Jordan Tiamu to take it himself. As that would bring us to 2-minute warning. It's not just his age that he's expecting too much from. His production recently, yeah, it's been okay. But there's talks that he wants like close to 10 mil, I believe, is what I've heard. He ain't gonna get that. Like last year in 14 games, he had 35 catches for 556. Like he's not going to get anything close to what he's asking for. Also, he hasn't made the Pro Bowl since 2016. 2017 was an injured season. That's probably why, and he could have made it in 18 and 19. Injured in 20. Injured in 2020. It's the decline of OBJ's career after 2019. Most of it's probably injuries. He had 3 touchdowns last year. Jeez, his 2021 season, those first 6 games in Cleveland, what were they doing? Yeah, OBJ hasn't had a 10 touchdown season since 2016. So I know I still think he's a very solid receiver. Don't get me wrong. And the true rating of OBJ is somewhere in the middle between the people saying he's still an elite receiver and people saying, oh, his one catch in his rookie season made his career. It's somewhere in the middle there. You he'll probably go down in history as a solid receiver who could have been elite if injuries did not beat his ass. And to be fair, injuries got the better of him because he played in New York. Like he played at MetLife. That stadium is notorious for injuries. And then even LA with the Rams. Like that stadium, it uses artificial turf, so they also didn't even realize he did not play in 2022. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier with the whole eclipse thing. Most of it is mainly due to injuries. That his career since 2017 hasn't been the greatest, but you never know. It's weird. OBJ is going to be one of those what ifs. As Tiamu is in shotgun, a back to his right, 3 receivers to the right, and a bunch set. Going to play action, keeping himself actually after faking a screen to the right. Gains about 8 on the play, maybe 9. So Jordan Tiamu, 2 very solid running plays back to back, and he's using his mobility, something I wanted to see more out of him. So clock ticking, a minute and a half left in the first half. DC down 11, 2nd and 2. Tiamu in shotgun back to his right, 3 receivers out left. Motion in the back to the right to make it 5 wide. Arlington's done a little bit of a blitz off the left side. Quick out to the right. It's going to be a touchdown for DC. That's Chris Rowland on the reception. And DC makes this game that slightly closer. And DC gets ball to begin the half. So they have a chance this gives them a chance to double up if their defense can make a quick stop. But Arlington has all their timeouts. Yeah, very very simple out route is all that was. An out route mix with kind of just a clear from the outside receiver. So going for 2 from the 5 yard line. Tiamu in shotgun and back to his left. 3 receivers out right in a bunch. Motion in the back out left to make it 5 wide. Looking to throw. Throws it and it's going to be dropped incomplete. Pass was intended for Brandon Smith. It's going to be a 5-point game with a minute 12 left in the half. I wouldn't say every. Jarvis Landry is pretty solid. He goes completely under the radar just because he hasn't really played recently. But he's a legend in Miami. I know there's a good bit of the Dolphins fans that want to see him back for a final season. Yeah, Jarvis Landry has been healthy. It's just his 2022 season in New Orleans he dealt with an injury and I don't think he's been back since. But yeah, again, there's a good collective of Dolphins fans who want Jarvis Landry back to be that receiver three, big body, can go up and get a receiver. But even Jarvis Landry's had a pretty weird career. I guess that's what happens when you play in Miami in a weird window, and they play Cleveland in a weird window. As the kick is on the way, going to be returned from about the 10-yard line. Gets out past the 20. Out past the 20. I think they're going to be rule him down about the 21. So it'll be 107 left in the half. Arlington has all three timeouts to try to make something work here. What is the what do you got against Jarvis Landry? Perez and shotgun back to his left. The receivers out right. They need a solid chunk of yards for field goal range. Going to look to throw, then hand it off on a delayed draw. Has plenty of space up the middle. Gain of about 14 on the play out to the 34. And it looks like Arlington is going to call their first time out. The clock just stops after first down in 2 minutes. That's right. So clock's still rolling. 55 seconds left in the half. Arlington, all three timeouts still. First and 10, Perez and shotgun back to his left. Three receivers out right. Motion to tight end inside. Looking to throw. Perez just going to dump it off to the tight end. He's going to lose 2 yards on the play maybe. That killed 20 seconds. And now Arlington is going to have to use their first timeout. I think this league lasts. I genuinely do think this league can last a while. Because if you want to think of technicality wise, this would be the USFL's third season, and it was still going strong. This is technically the XFL 3.0's second season. They're going to be just fine. There's talks about expansion after this season. This league is going to last. Even today, I talked about it a little bit earlier in the day, how the crowd, I wasn't expecting a massive crowd of fans because the Dallas Stars are playing today in a game that's in a game that's for seeding, and there's a decent amount of fans there today. As second down, Perez gonna look to throw, instant pressure, throws it incomplete. Obviously, there's less fans compared to week one, but there's still a solid crowd there. I wonder. We'll probably look at the attendance numbers a little later today. I wouldn't be surprised if it's close to the USFL stadium standard of that 8,000, 9,000 range. But when you have, we'll see how Birmingham is later today. As for third and 12, three receivers out left, back in the backfield, Perez and shotgun. Need a lot of yards here. Going to look to throw, just a quick screen to the left. Finds an opening, breaks the tackle for the first down and a lot more. Still running, down to about the 35-ish. Solid piece of running there. That was Sal Cananella on the reception. The UFL is never going to play their games in the fall. At least not until they become unless they become an official minor league. They're not going to play games in the fall because they need the TV numbers, and the ratings have been good. As Perez is going to look to throw, dumps it off to Letty Brown at the backfield, gets to the 34-ish yard line, and Arlington's going to use their second timeout. But this league is no. I think an Oakland A's game looks worse than this because the Oakland A's play a proper like professional baseball. Most people are in the consensus that this is pretty much just the equivalent to a minor league game. And again, like for what it is, the attendance it looks good. No other team is going to be St. Louis selling 40,000. All the games from last week, for ratings wise, were at close to 1 million views concurrent. So that is really good ratings. Plus, they have the U.S. Army sponsorship for this season, which is a 10 million deal. Their ratings gets the TV rights gets them about 3 million for this season. So like they're gonna be fine. St. Louis alone is gonna make them come close to breaking even. Perez looking to throw in 2nd and 8. Going to throw it down the field and nearly intercepted. Should have been picked off. That is Santos Ramirez dropping an easy interception. 9 seconds left in the half. Where they choose to expand in the offseason, if they do, where they choose to expand is going to make or break the league. Because it's going to take a lot to have more teams in this league. Like a lot of money is going to go into it. So you need to pick your expansion cities correctly. And like Bob Flash is saying, cities like DC and St. Louis who are desperate for quality teams are going to eat it up as Arlington's going to hand it off up the middle, gets close to the first down. There's a flag on the play, however. So it would have been an 8-yard carry for the first. Might be pushed back. Yeah. So it's going to be holding on Arlington. That sucks. There's 4 seconds left in the half. And now you most likely won't be able to get a field goal out of it because of that. So before the news that broke earlier this week about the Arizona Coyotes, I was saying Salt Lake City would be a good place to put in a UFL team. Now that they're also getting a professional hockey team, it's going to be interesting to see if that's still a target city for them. I think it still could work, but it's definitely going to be the case of it's definitely a little bit more of a question mark now. Although with the schedule of the UFL, it takes a lot of advantage of the fact that the NBA and NHL season ends soon, as Perez throws this one away to send us to halftime. Just pocket collapse, nothing really going on in that play. But definitely like the cities that should be targeted the most, Oakland. I feel like Oakland would be a really good city. San Diego, Portland, and Salt Lake City are still my top 4 teams for expansion for the UFL, if they do decide to expand. But again, like a a random fucking UFL game is looking similar to an Oakland A's game is not. If anything, that's a compliment to the UFL because the A's were averaging like 10,000 fans last year. If every single team in the UFL, obviously besides like DC and St. Louis, as they're going to average more, but if every team and maybe San Antonio, but if every team can average like that 10K plus, that's a successful season for the UFL. And also, I'm not saying it was a complete coincidence, but the fact we're seeing The Rock more on WWE might be as a way to try to like counteract the slight losses that the league might be giving him. Most likely not. But again, like, it's going to be a few years before the league even becomes profitable. But like they have the endorsements and they have the deals to make this league long standing. Because I think everyone wants this. Even the NFL, I think everyone wants this league to be a long-standing. Yeah, the last season of Young Rock ended like I think last year at some point. I did not watch that show. I had no interest in it. Okay, there was a report earlier this week. Let me see if I can find it about the UFL endorsement deals. Yeah, so every single game in the UFL, they highlight the U.S. Army and the troops and all that. That's because of an $11 million endorsement deal, which that alone is a good amount of money for them. Under Armour also has the deal with UFL for the jerseys and everything. That I think is close to 2 million as well for this season. And then obviously you have the TV rights deal between Fox and ESPN. So they're making about 15 million minimum off of endorsements, I believe. Plus, again, St. Louis bringing in if St. Louis can bring in 40K fans annually, like on average to the games, that alone is going to be enough to keep the league again close to breaking even, if not profitable. So then you just rattle off like a few more cities similar to St. Louis. All's going to be fine. And weeks like last week, where every single game comes down to the wire, including they're showing it now on the broadcast, the San Antonio comeback. Those are going to get eyes on the league. Is going to keep the ratings up. And at the end of the day, that's all that truly matters. Oh, I think I now get what you were saying about Flash with the Little Rock. I don't see Arkansas getting the UFL team. I don't know why that took me. Probably because I was talking about The Rock. I just had his show on the mind. I don't see Arkansas getting the UFL team. At least not next year. Because again, you do really need to make sure you hit properly on these cities and you take the safest bets. Oakland having no professional sports team now at the moment, and the fan base has shown that they will support a team if they're competitive. So you hit that market and you hit that market and you get a team there that you know can be competitive. That's what DC did over in the like the Maryland Washington market to replace the Commanders. And then you get a and then you get a and then you get a team who has been missing a professional football team for a little bit, and you know can still house a good team. That's why you get San Diego. So those are the two guaranteed cities where you know you're going to get a good portion of fans at the games. And then you can maybe take a risk or two when it comes to cities where you know would want a professional team and have shown also like with Portland, like they've shown that people will show up to Trailblazers game if the team is competitive. So you put a competitive professional football team there. And then same thing with the Jazz. The Utah fans have shown that they're willing to support a competitive team. Go right ahead. The only reason why I don't think Arkansas gets a team is because also if the UFL wants to be long-standing, they need to get westward more. The most west team they have is San Antonio. Like they need to get out west. I wouldn't be surprised if that's like if eventually the UFL does become an actual minor league team, then I wouldn't be surprised if Arkansas gets a team. But it's gonna take a few years before that because it's well, yeah, it's a similar market size to like a Salt Lake City or a Portland. It's a riskier market as it is a college, like as Arkansas and that surrounding area is very college football heavy. So it's kind of like a uncertainty if they're willing to support also a professional team. So like Birmingham having the success there they have when it comes to a professional team being there, and the Stallions, it definitely makes it more likely that Arkansas will eventually get a team, but it's not going to be in like the near future. I am also curious on how they would handle expansion. 'Cause I guess you can do two and two in each division to make it six team divisions. But okay, this I feel like this is gonna be a talking point most streams. I have a lot of talking about it because the idea of expansion of the UFL is great. But like Oakland, Portland, San Diego, Salt Lake City. Obviously you have the Utah Jazz. We're gonna have to wait and see what the Coyotes become when they move to Salt Lake City next year. That announcement is actually gonna be in like 4 days. I think is when that gets announced that they're officially moving. Everyone knows at this point. Like the GM talked to the team yesterday. I believe that they're going to be moving to Salt Lake, but like the NHL isn't announcing it until again like in 4 days. But like, obviously like you want to keep some kind of like consistent brand amongst locational teams. That's why you have that's why you have Arlington, who is close enough to the Cowboys to be called the Renegades. It's a synonym. You have the Roughnecks, close within Houston, similar to the Texans. DC Defenders, Commanders. St. Louis, you have the Blues, but you have the Cardinals, Battlehawks, keeping that bird theme. Cannot I couldn't I mean kind of with San Antonio you have the Spurs and then Brahmas who are like the animal where like the skull you see in westerns is from. But there's obviously there's exceptions like Memphis and the Showboats. Not really any connection there between the Grizzlies. But for the most part, you want to keep that brand identity amongst the city. So it's going to be interesting to see first what the Coyotes become, and then how that could impact a Salt Lake City UFL team. But that's also part of the reason why like targeting an Oakland market or a Portland, not really a Portland, but an Oakland market where there is now no professional teams. That is a brand heaven because you could just name it whatever you want related to the city. There's no need to keep it connected to any other team. Even though before Oakland wasn't really the most brand symmetric of cities, but that's besides the point. But it's because these UFL teams, because you need to make sure you can build the brand really quickly or like effectively. There's a lot more pressure on them selecting the right name than a relocated team or an expansion team in a different league. So like it for we'll probably get the locations first for the expansion, and then the names will come later on. Like we're seeing this with the NFL now with the new third helmet shell color rule, like expanding that to allowing a third different helmet color. It's a way for these teams to build bigger brands because it gets and also build more money because you're able to sell another helmet. Speaking of that, we know that in a week's time, I guess yeah, a week's time ish, we're getting like 4 or 5 new jerseys from the NFL teams. The Lions are releasing new jerseys. The Broncos are. I know there's others. I just cannot fucking think of them right now. Those are probably related to the new helmet color and helmet shell rule. So it's going to be interesting to see what those look like. Especially because I don't yet, like behind me, I don't yet have those teams. If those jerseys do look really good, they're going to be added to the wall. If not, like if it is new jerseys. If not, I'm sure I can find ways to get the older ones. Yeah. One of these stats they showed on the broadcast here at halftime is the play disparity. DC has ran 15 plays on offense compared to 40 from Arlington. So the fact that this is a 5 point game and DC has a chance to take the lead is a testament to the defense of DC as they're going to get ball to begin the third quarter. DC had 4 first downs compared to Arlington's 13. Yeah. Yeah, what could be Hog Riders? I feel like it's not going to be a name for a professional team. But that does raise a question of like, what are the possibilities there? That might be a fun video to research. Kind of like potential expansion teams for the UFL. I can really dive into the history of some of those cities. As the kick is on the way, DC is going to return it from about the 7 yard line. Going to get up past the 30, has him on the right side, and tackled out of bounds at about the 40. So Jordan Teamu will start from there. Again, they need something. It's hard to say they need something going. They just need a long drive to make the stats look better. But Teamu today is 5 for 8, about 80 yards and a touchdown. He's playing well. So 1st and 10. Let's see what the first play of the half is as Teamu is alone in the backfield, 5 wide, 3 receivers to the left. Ball on the 39-yard line. Going to keep it himself in a QB draw and sliding down after a gain of about 4. And there is a flag on the play as Teamu was hit late after the slide. The flag got thrown pretty late, but it was obvious for what it was for. As yeah, Teamu was hit pretty late on the slide. After the play, unnecessary personal foul, unnecessary roughness on Arlington. So if add 15 yards to the end of the play, it's going to be a first down for DC. Terrible way to start the half. As that is called on Donald Payne, the linebacker of Arlington. So they are now past the 50 on the plus side of the field. It's going to be 1st and 10. Ball on the 43-yard line. Teamu shotgun back to his left. Going to hand it off, looking to find something up the middle. They gain about maybe 5 on the play. That's a fair spot by the. That's a generous spot from the far judge, from the line judge. And yeah, there's replaying the penalty. Payne just comes in way too late. So 2nd and 5, ball now on the 38-yard line. Tiamu in shotgun back to his right, 2 receivers to the left. Sending a man in motion, going to keeping himself on a little faking of an end around, and he loses 3, maybe 4 on the play. I'm going to say a loss of 2. That's also a generous spot. It will be 3rd and 7 with 13:50 left in the third. So yeah, 3rd and 7 clock is ticking. There's 11 seconds left on the play clock. Tiamu in shotgun, alone in the backfield, 5 wide, 3 receivers to the right. Gonna drop back looking to throw in 3rd and 7. Throwing it deep down the field and overthrows everyone by 5-7 yards ish. It was gonna be 4th and 7. I guess it was intended for Alex Ellis. No one was really in the area. As out comes the field goal unit is Matt McCrane for the field goal try. Going to be another long one for him today. Hit from 54 earlier. This one's going to be from 58 on the left hash. Snap good, hold good, kick up. And is good from 58 yards. DC makes this a 2-point game. And that was a relatively successful drive to begin the second half. You cut down the lead. Oh, he had plenty of leg on that kick. Where are they finding these kickers from? Jeez. He had an extra 4 or 5 yards on that kick. That was from 58. What the... I guess the NFL should look more into getting kickoff specialists to be field goal kickers, as that's pretty much what the UFL has, and most of their kickers are really good. It definitely would be nice to see games at War Memorial again. I feel that way with a lot of stadiums. To be fair, most of those stadiums have since been demolished since I really last thought of them. But whenever the Rose Bowl comes around, and we see proper games at Pasadena, I do not count UCLA games as proper games. They have worse attendance in the UFL. When that stadium is rocking, and they have games that go till past sunset, the Rose Bowl is one of the most beautiful stadiums in the U.S. And I would love to see it used more often. And again, used properly more often. UCLA does not do that stadium justice during the season. So again, I would love to see that stadium have a more prominent use. But then, also I know Qualcomm has since been demolished, but that was another stadium where when the Chargers left San Diego, I'm like, they need to find another use for this stadium because it's just that good of a stadium. Many people in Miami felt that way about the Orange Bowl before it was demolished. The Hurricanes used it before they moved to Sun Life, which is now Hard Rock. Uh, yeah, it's just there's a ton, a good chunk of those kind of stadiums exist. But one thing that just sucks is a lot of people can't find proper uses for those stadiums. So I am happy that UCLA does still give Pasadena and the Rose Bowl a solid chunk of usage. But they need to fix UCLA and make them a proper powerhouse again. So that way the Rose Bowl can be rocking consistently. So the kick is underway. It's going to be returned from about the 4 yard line. And it's going to be tackled about the 20. That is a great special teams play by DC. So Arlington's first drive of the half will begin from the 20-yard line with a chance to extend this lead. And Briley Moore, who got injured on the first play of the game, is no longer in pads. He has a brace on his knee. You suck to see. He had a great catch last week in DC's win. He gets down. He goes down early today. You hate to see it, but first drive of the second half for Arlington. Perez under center, 2 receivers to the left, a back in the backfield. Going to hand it off, looking left side. Fights to get back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. So 12:35 left in the third. That was Devion Smith on the carry. And Arlington going a little hurry up. Perez and shotgun back to his right. 2 receivers each side. Going to hand it off once again. Trying to work that left side. Breaks a tackle and has room to run. And gets tackled about the 30-yard line for the first down. Devion Smith on the carry. And there is now 12 minutes left in the third. The official measurement, as they have the true line measurement, the chip in the ball and everything, barely got the first down, but he did. So Perez now under center on 1st and 10, ball in the 30. Back in the backfield. 2 receivers to the right. Making adjustments at the line. He has 2 seconds. He needs to get the snap off. Does in time. Going to hand it off once again. But there's a flag on the play, and they're going to stop the play. So it's going to be a false start, pushing Arlington back 5. They would have gotten the snap off, but false start by what looks like they're calling it on the center, Cameron Hunt. But Arlington, they're not scared to run it down your throat. They did a great job of that last week against St. Louis. As they're going to try the ground once again, breaking a ton of tackles, getting past the 30 to about the 34, maybe the 33. So they get the yardage back from the false start. They're staying down to 33, so a 8-yard gain. It's going to be 2nd and 7. Devion Smith on the carry once again. In shotgun, back to his right. 2 receivers each side. Perez going to play action, looking to throw over the middle. Incomplete. Nothing really open. It's going to be 3rd and 7. Couldn't get the number of the receiver the pass was intended for. Okay, it was intended for Seth Green, the tight end, who was lined up out wide in the slot. So 3rd and 7. Perez in shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the right. Arlington is 9 for 11 on 3rd down today. Going to drop back looking to pass. Perez throw in. Going to get it off and barely caught by Tyler Vaughn. Had to dive down for it. Ball on the 49. Perez was hit way low, like at the ankles as he was throwing it. Couldn't get enough power. Couldn't get a lot of power under it. But he gets it off, makes a completion. He is shaken up, but would stay in the game. DC sent a delayed blitz. Perez got hit low in the ankle and just barely fit the window. As Arlington's going to hand it off to Devion Smith, who bounces off of tacklers and gets a solid pickup of about 7, maybe 8, to make it second and short. And yeah, Perez is now going to have to watch that left ankle. So he already isn't the most mobile quarterback. Now he's going to be limited even more. So in shotgun, back to his right, 3 receivers to the right. Perez going to look to throw, quick pass to the left, incomplete. There's a late flag on the play. They might call that holding on DC. We shall see, as Lindsey Scott is coming into the game either way. Most likely because they want to check up on Perez's ankle. They're going to call defensive pass interference on the play. So that would give Arlington a first down. They're calling that on Garyon Conley. So again, it will be first down for Arlington as Lindsey Scott has entered the game. Again, Perez's ankle definitely was bothering him. As Scott is now in shotgun, a back to each side. Man in motion, going to keep it himself in a play action, and fumbles the ball but falls back on it about the 46-yard line. DC is doing a great job trying to keep him in the pocket and containing Scott's mobility. I'm going to say this when it comes to the Chargers stadium situation. Because when they moved to LA at first, they played at the LA Galaxy Stadium. I would have preferred if they played in Pasadena. Or if they end up saying now, we don't want to pay the Rams for rent, we'll rather go to Pasadena. As Perez in shock, Perez back in the game, throws it deep down the field, has a man wide open for the first down and more. Tackled at about the 23-yard line. That's Tyler Vaughns once again. So Perez back in the game. Gets a nice completion on second and long. Keeps Arlington's drive moving. So 7:40 left in the third. Perez in shotgun, a back to his left. Ball on the 23-yard line. Perez going to look to throwing towards the right side, and incomplete blanketed coverage attended for Tyler Vaughn. That was DeAndre Baker on the coverage. Here's the thing, because currently as it stands, pretty much every single week, there is a game, right? Yeah, basically every single week there is a game at SoFi, and the NFL wants to push SoFi Stadium more than anything because of how futuristic of a stadium it is. And Perez going to hand it off to Devion Smith, who breaks off a tackle in the backfield. They pick up about 5 on the play to make it third and manageable. The NFL is never going to pass up on a chance to have SoFi Stadium be on TV. So it's less about the fact that it's more so a fact that the NFL would not let the Chargers leave SoFi to go to Pasadena if they want. As the card is on the Arlington sideline, not sure for who, but Perez with 3 receivers to his left and a back to his right, then shotgun to look to throw. DC sends a blitz. He gets hit while trying to get the ball out. It's going to be just high and incomplete, 4th and 5. So yeah, Perez gets destroyed while trying to throw that ball. DC sent a solid middle linebacker blitz. And yeah, ball is just too high for the intended target of Sal Cananella to come down with it. Would have been short of the first anyway. So out comes Tyler Russolino to try to make this a 5-point game once again. 36-yard attempt from the right hash. The kick is up and good. It's going to be a 12-17 game. But yeah, so it was like I've I have planned. So when the new college football game, when that comes out, there might be streams of it on the channel. I don't know yet. My plan is exactly when it comes to that aspect of it. I do know I'm gonna be playing it a shit ton. UCLA is obviously gonna be one of the teams I do a dynasty for, not because I give a shit about UCLA, but because I want to see the Rose Bowl a lot. Like I got just personally, I don't know if I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do when it comes to that. If I'm gonna do anything related to that game on the channel, most likely not. But or maybe I don't know. It depends. It depends how the off season of the NFL goes, and also like kind of like the NBA stuff. But for the most part, I think currently as it stands, don't expect anything from that game on the channel. Again, it could change. But I definitely have a lot. Like just pretty personally, I have a lot of dynasty modes planned. Like I am really excited for that game to drop. The current rumored release date is July 19th, with the full reveal properly coming in a month on May 16th. That game is going to have control over me for the first month upon its release. There'll still be content, don't worry, but that's gonna be like a primary thing I do because like I'm just so looking forward to that game. Just like many people. But we still have commercial, so don't worry, not missing anything. Arlington just extended their lead to 5 as ESPN is highlighting the NHL playoffs as those are right around the corner. Same thing with the NBA playoffs. Yeah, there's no NBA games today. Uh, there's yeah. The good thing is for this first window of games, the UFL is pretty much the only one. Obviously, you have the baseball games that are on pretty much throughout the entire day. But like when it comes to like main sport, I'm not just not a fan of baseball. When it comes to like all the sports, when it comes to the nationally televised sports, there's this one, and then there's an NHL game on. But I mean, it's. I just checked the score of it. Looks pretty good. The Panthers don't play till a little bit later, so yeah. So yeah, interviewing Devion Smith on the sideline. The kick is underway. DC will begin their return from about the 5. He muffs the return, picks it up at about the 12, and tackles at about the 24-yard line. Nearly a terrible situation there. But luckily, falls back on it. So they would start from about the 24-yard line. So I know there's been the not the jokes, but the idea that Blake Corum would be going to the Chargers because reuniting with Harbaugh. I mean, for a cheaper deal, you can get Devion Smith. He's been playing well so far in the UFL. Tayami was alone in the backfield, 5 wide, ball in the 24, going to drop back, looking to pass, pump fakes, escapes the pressure, rolls out left, then throws it across body to an open receiver. That's Alex Ellis, who's going to be tackled about the 41, maybe the 42 for the first down. Tiamu has definitely looked better today compared to the first 2 weeks. It's still just not fully consistent. As he's in shotgun, back to his left, going to play action, looking to throw. Throws it right side. What a grab by, I think that's Kelvin Harmon. Looks like he might have toe dragged that on the sideline. Oh, just doesn't get the feet down. But that would have been a great catch. But it's ruled incomplete. 2nd and 10. 4:50 left in the third. Teamu alone in the backfield once again. 5 receivers set. Looking to throw. Actually going to keep it himself on a QB draw. Has space up the middle. Slides down about the 44. Maybe ruled the 45. But either way, a very solid run there from Jordan Teamu to pick up the first down and more. And DC is finally calling designated design QB runs for him. That's one thing I've been talking about, I've mentioned in these streams before that I want to see more of, was let Teamu use his mobility. They've let him. The drives have been working where they have let him. As he's now in shotgun, back to his left, 3 receivers left, going to play action, look to throw. Throw it deep down the outside, back shoulder. It is caught down inside the 30, and we get a too small celebration from T.Y. Scott. So ball would now be placed about the 26-yard line. They're highlighting the week for DC's offensive coordinator, and geez, what a week that was. Tamu looking to throw. Going to throw it down, deep down the field towards the end zone, and it is incomplete. Blanketed coverage intended for Kelvin Harmon. They highlighted this past week for DC's offensive coordinator. Man lost sight in, I think, either in one of his eyes or both of his eyes. Had surgery and is now back calling the game as an offensive coordinator. All in the span of a week. Jeez, that's impressive. At 2nd and 10, ball on the 26-yard line. Tiamu is shotgun back to his right as there is a stoppage of play. It looks like there's going to be a timeout called. Oh no, DC is going to challenge the previous play. They're using their one super challenge. And it seems they're challenging a pass interference call. Yeah, DC is challenging that there should have been a pass interference called in the end zone. So again, for anyone where this is one of their first UFL games, every team has one challenge, and you're able to use it on literally anything, but you only have one for the entire game. So DC is challenging that there should have been defensive pass interference on the previous play. So we shall see. I think it's going to come down to if the defender turned his head. And it doesn't look like the defender ever turned his head to look for the ball. That's a chance that DC can win this challenge. They both jump at similar times. The defender was like in the lap pretty much the entire time though of the receiver. And he never seems like he never turns his head to look for the ball and play the ball. So because of that fact, they might reward them to challenge. But it seems like no, they said that they were going to lose the challenge. So it's still going to be 2nd and 10. DC has lost one of their timeouts. Tiamu in shotgun back to his right, 3 receivers to the right. Going to hand it off up the middle, and he's going to get about 2 yards. That's Cameron Harris on the carry. So yeah, DC loses their first timeout due to a failed challenge. I respect. I think the challenge was a good challenge to throw. I get why they said. I get why they said it's not pass interference, but it's really more so a case of what was called on the field was going to stand. As it is now 3rd and 8, a back to Tiamu's right, sending a man in motion, going to play action, looking to throw, and it's going to dump it off to the back in the backfield. It has space to run to get the first down and more. Going to get out of bounds at about the 14-yard line. That's Cameron Harris on the reception. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for DC. Big time pickup on 3rd and 8. Puts them inside the red zone. So with 2:15 left in the third, Tiamu in shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers out left. Going to play action, looking to throwing towards the end zone. And the ref threw his hat, I think symbolizing a flag. It's ruled incomplete anyway. But yeah, the ref threw his hat. Not sure why. There's no flag on the play, it seems. Yeah, he was just out of bounds when he caught it. That was Brandon Smith, intended receiver. So it will be 2nd and 10. Again, ball on the 14-yard line. 1:35 left in the third. Tiamu back to pass. Going to throw it end zone again. And this time it is going to be ruled incomplete for Brandon Smith. But I think he might have gotten his elbow down in time. That was a beautifully placed throw by Tiamu. DC doesn't have their challenge though. Brandon Smith lays out for it, and it is close to if he got enough feet inbound, or he got enough body inbounds. That was an incredible catch either way. Dives for it, has possession. No, hit the back of his, like closer to his shoulder, landed out of bounds first. It is under official review, but I don't think this is going to be ruled a touchdown. It is close though, and it would have been a great catch. It's still a great catch anyway, but it would have been but he gets 1 foot. Oh wait, the review. He gets a foot, then it looks like his elbow might have hit inbounds first before his shoulder goes out of bounds. That is close. He gets a foot in bounds. Then it seems like the elbow hits in bounds. So that should be a touchdown. An incredible throw and catch if this does end up being a touchdown. Just in a fucking bread bag. That was a tight window throw, and it got there, and again, a great dive and catch. We're gonna see what the call is reversed. It's going to be a DC touchdown, an incredible catch, and DC takes the 1-point lead. An incredible dive and grab from Brandon Smith. And now DC is going to go for 2 points from the 5-yard line. Tiamu with shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the right in a tight bunch. Looking to throw. Tiamu throwing. And it's going to be incomplete. Not really in the vicinity for the intended receiver. So Arlington's going to get the ball back down 1. Oh, I realized I removed the wrong timeout and challenge. There we go. Away timeout. one gone, and then the away challenge. There we go. Now it's better. An incredible play by DC. So with a minute 8 left in the third, Arlington's going to get the ball back. And yeah, just a perfectly placed throw and an even better catch to be able to get an elbow down in bounds. But again, that's the thing with Teamu. So he can make throws like that where they're perfectly placed, and then he can also have throws where they're airmailed by 5 yards. So Teamu today is 9 for 16, 143 yards and 2 touchdowns, 7 carries for 46 yards. He's having a good day, and DC's the offense is playing better. But again, there's still a few moments in this game where I'm like, if you hit that throw instead, then maybe your lead's bigger or whatnot. I need to see the full completeness of this offense. Is that the wind in Arlington is forcing the ball off the tee. We might be seeing someone come in to hold it again. So again, with 1:08 left in the third, DC is about to kick it away. And the return is going to start at about the... Oh, it just goes out the back of the end zone. It bounces, then goes out of the end zone. So it's going to be a touchback. And Arlington's going to get pretty good field position here. So yeah, with the ball going out the back of the end zone, I believe that puts the ball at about the 35-yard line. Yeah, they're checking up on Perez's ankle in between series. So Perez is still in the game. So the ball is on the 25-yard line. My mistake. Perez in shotgun back to his right. Two receivers to the right as well. Perez going to hand it off up the middle. Bouncing off of one tackler. Gets about 5 yards to about the 30-yard line. That is Day Hunter on the carry, number 17. First time calling his name this season, as it's going to be 2nd and 5 with 43 seconds left in the third. Perez in short shotgun, a back behind him. 2 receivers to the right. What could be the final play before the fourth quarter. Perez handing it off. And maybe gets a yard on the carry. That's Letty Brown. I think the official rule is going to be back to the line of scrimmage. And with that play, I believe we will be seeing the end of the third quarter. There's 10 seconds left in the third. And Arlington's going to let this clock run and bring us to the fourth quarter. Again, the game is sort of playing out how I expected it. I would say it's definitely a tighter game than I expected, but I did expect it to be a closer one to begin with. As there was 15 minutes left to decide this one. Again, Perez has been playing well, but what I meant to say was Teamu and DC's offense. It's showing improvement from week to week, but it still has that flashes of it could be a lot better. So there's still a lot of improvement that could be made for DC's offense, but I do like the trajectory they're going in, and their defense is still playing a lot better than how they started the season against San Antonio. The defense has really made the improvements they have needed to. The offense is making the improvements, but at a slower rate. I'm saying this as they're currently sitting at 1-1, but they their win against Houston last week wasn't the most impressive. The one so far today, I would say, is decently impressive. Because Arlington, from what we saw last week, was an offense that can score when needed. They need to score here. It's going to be 3-5 when we get out of the commercial break. And I think this is the first time I've seen ESPN have a commercial for the WNBA draft. Just goes to show just goes to show how impactful the upcoming draft class is for the WNBA and how popular those players are. Like I go back and forth between how much I truly watch ESPN, but with the spring leagues, with UFL, and then XFL, USFL last year, I like that. Those were like the times I really watched ESPN, and even before, like when I did used to watch a lot of Sports Center and ESPN, I never saw commercials for the WNBA. So a good change of pace. Get the attention on the leagues. Although like I'm not the biggest fan of every single league or everything, I still like want to make sure I still want every league to succeed in some capacity. So it's good to see the WNBA is getting its shine. As we are back from commercial to begin the fourth quarter, Arlington's going to face a 3rd and 5. As the sideline reporter is interviewing one of the tech guys one of the tech people, it seems, to discuss how the iPads work on the sideline. As Arlington is still in the huddle. So yeah, not a massive. I mean, it's a massive drive. We want to try to take the lead as Perez is in shotgun it back to his right. Few receivers to the right. You want to get a solid drive here. Can't let it stall out here this early on. DC jumps like four DC players jump, and it's going to be a first down for Arlington. They got 4 DC players to jump there. Oh, they're ruling false start. Okay, they're saying that someone in Arlington moved first, which caused the DC players to all just jump. I didn't necessarily see anything, but it looks like they're highlighting Tyler Vaughn's the receiver, so that makes sense why I wouldn't have properly seen it. Keep an eye on the offensive line to begin plays. Perez in shotgun back to his right, 3 receivers to the right. DC are sending, it looks like there's going to be sending pressure on 3rd and 10. Perez back to pass. Stepping up in the pocket. Thrown over the middle of this. Caught and has plenty of room to run and pick up the first and more. That is running back Letty Brown getting out pass to about the 48-yard line to keep the drive alive. .37 left in the game. Perez back in shotgun, back to his left. 2 receivers out to each side. Looking to throw. Perez throwing it to the right side on the comeback route. Has his receiver of Javante Payton for a gain of about 13 on the play and a fresh set of downs. A very solid drive from Arlington here after it started off slow. Now they have pieces moving. Back-to-back first downs. Perez in short shotgun back behind him. 2 receivers to his left. Perez going to play action, looking to throw. Has plenty of time in the pocket. Throws it, is going to be caught past the sticks. And still keeping pushing, going down the field. Won't go down until he gets pushed out of bounds at about the 21-yard line, it seems. That's Sal Cananella, the tight end, on the reception. Yeah, false start, everyone but the center. It's a classic call. It's a simple out route to the tight end, and he just would not go down. You even got some help from Letty Brown pushing him forward. Perez going to do a quick pass over the middle. Incomplete, intended for Sal Cananella. The hit jarred the ball loose, and will make it 2nd and 10. There's a few times when the refs get creative with how they call penalties that I just love. Another one is in one, I cannot remember what Pro Bowl it was, but the ref saying, yes, there are penalties in the Pro Bowl. Iconic. 2nd and 10, ball on the plus 21-yard line. Perez in shotgun it back to his left. 2 receivers to the right, going to hand it off up the middle. Has some kind of hole and pushing himself forward. Gains of about 8 on the play to make it a 3rd and short. There's false start everyone but the center. Yes, there are penalties in the Pro Bowl. And another one was unnecessary roughness, giving him the business. 15 yards in the first down. As Lindsey Scott is in the game on 3rd and short to give them an extra layer of mobility in the offense. And shotgun a back to his right. Man sent in motion. Scott going to keep it himself up the middle. Has plenty of space to run. Untouched into the end zone. Arlington retakes the lead. It's going to be 23-18. And with 12:17 left, Arlington gets a really, really good drive going and capitalizes. Yep, they sent both the guard and tackle on a pole to create the hole on the left side. And he was just untouched from there. That's a beautifully designed QB keeper. As now they're going for 2 from the 5-yard line to make this a 7-point game. Perez alone in shotgun. Going to look to throw. Throwing over the middle. It is... they're saying it is caught by Sal Cananella. So it's going to be a 7-point game. I definitely think the schemes have something to do with why the quarterbacks aren't looking like themselves from the past. And, oh yeah, Cananella caught that ball. And also with Perez, earlier in the game, he did get his ankle a little messed up, but it seems to not be bothering him that much anymore. But Arlington's system is a weird style of a 2 QB system. I talked about this earlier in the game. It reminds me a lot of the 2009 Dolphins, where they have Pat White coming in for some plays. And it's a case where in the middle of a drive, you throw in another quarterback for a play or two, and then you throw back in Perez. That could mess up the rhythm a little bit, so that could be a factor as well. And just Perez is not used to that kind of scheme yet. As for Teyamu, yeah, something's definitely off. I don't know exactly what. Part of me thinks he's looking scared in the pocket. The other part of me is like, they're not letting him be mobile. So like he's kind of scared in the pocket while also not being allowed to use his feet to create that space in the pocket. We've seen today so far, he has 7 carries for about 50 yards. And their offense has looked better. It's looked more consistent. Oftentimes, it's just utilizing some of the underappreciated strengths of your quarterback. If they get Teyamu more in like naked boots or bootlegs, or just allow him to run the ball a lot more in different ways besides QB draws, I think the offense will look a lot better because he's not passing it as much. It's going to hide his accuracy issues. And 2, it can allow him to get into a little bit more of a rhythm easier. Perez was also on like 3 teams last year. I'm not gonna blame him at all for not being fully used to a system. He bounced around last year. So he finally is like it. It's gonna take him a bit, but with Tiamu, like he's been on DC, I think since XFL 2.0, if I'm not mistaken. So him not having a solid something had to have changed within how their system works and their scheme works. That is just making him not really comfortable, or it could just be age catching up to him a little quicker than expected. But their offense is definitely looking a lot better when they're allowing him to run the ball. Because again, it disguises his accuracy issues because you're not asking him to pass much, and it's allowing you to build off of stuff to convert third downs because you have the longer drives. Wait, down seven. DC now needs a solid drive here. So we shall see how they handle it. But it feels like DC is still keeping part of their offense locked up. And like they're hiding it for later in the season, but there might not be a need for later in the season, as DC is going to return this from inside the 10, and he's going to be tackled at about the 27-yard line. Ah, he was on the Battlehawks in 20. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of cases. It's just DC is still waiting to unveil the full offense because I'm sure there's no way that the offense they've been throwing out the past couple of weeks is the full force of the offense. They're probably waiting for something when it's really necessary. But you might be getting to the point where it becomes necessary sooner than expected, as Teamu is going to hand this off, try and get some space up the middle, take it down for about a gain of two, 2.5. That is Darius Haggins on the carry. So it will be a gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Tiamu with a back to his left and two receivers to each side. We're gonna drop back, looking to pass, throw in. The receiver slipped up. The pressure got to him. Ball is out of reach. Intended for Chris Rowland's gonna be 3rd and 8. That's also part of it. Is like the receiving options. Like yeah, you have a few that can make really good catches, but they're also not consistent. The run game isn't consistent. It's like you need to get one piece of your game consistent. It's Tiamu in 3rd and 8. They look to pass. Arlington sends a blitz. Tiamu steps up, trying to get a hole up the middle. Taken down for a gain of about 1. Had an opening up the middle, but it closed rather quickly. Thanks to Jalen Redmond, the defensive lineman who makes the tackle and forces a DC punt. He just doesn't seem comfortable. I don't know if it's just he doesn't trust his O line, which I don't blame him. The O line has not been playing good. As the punt is shanked, but the friendly bounce is going to be down at about the 20-yard line. Let's see. He's only 26. Like Jordan Thomas, like he's still young. It's just that I don't know. It's still just that like he doesn't look comfortable in the pocket, and he's overthinking things sometimes. He's been pump faking quite a bit today, and even like in the pump fakes, they're not really two great receiving options. But like he needs to just be more confident and trust his eyes more. Because while yes, there are some routes and some plays where pump fakes are a key factor in it, where the coach would be like, "Hey, pump fake it here, then look here, and that should be open. But the plays where he's pump faking, they're not that situation. DC's I don't know if I would call it the worst. It's up there to be. It's one of the worst. But yeah, that and an O line that you don't fully trust means that you're thinking faster than you might otherwise need to, and you're getting the ball out quicker than you might otherwise want to. Because like you can have a really solid pocket around you, but because you don't trust your O line, you might feel pressure on your blind side that's not actually there, and thus you make an error and throw. You don't trust your O line enough to properly step into a throw, go through your mechanics. Is that build-in trust? And don't get me wrong, there are some teams who do a great job disguising the fact that the O line might not be the greatest at pass protection. The Dolphins are one of them. But some teams are able to do that because they have a quarterback that's able to read the defense really quickly. If any of these UFL quarterbacks were able to read the defense really quickly, they wouldn't be in the UFL. They're here to learn that skill and learn other skills. So like you really do need a solid offensive line for this kind of league. So that way your quarterback can be comfortable. DC just doesn't have it. Michigan is another team that just doesn't properly have it. Houston, another one that doesn't properly have it. Yeah, and that too is he's still getting used to new weapons and all that. And to be fair, like his weapons, like he has guys that can make the proper play. It's going to take time to build that trust. So again, by later in the season, it might look a lot better. It's definitely improved week to week. As Perez is going to throw a quick screen to the right side, creating some space, finds a hole to get up past the 40. That is Justin Manigo on the screenplay. That's why my focus on DC, especially after that first week, has been more so: are they improving from week to week? Because of the whole new receiving options, maybe the offensive line is inconsistent or whatnot. They've definitely improved week to week. Oh, for sure, they're missing him. But like, they've looked better week to week, which is the important thing. As Arlington's going to hand it off up the middle. Devion Smith tried to bounce it out to the outside after breaking some tackles, but it's going to be tackled at about the 47, maybe. Gain for about 3. Okay, I think once we get like halfway into the season, we'll start to see DC fully have the pieces together. It takes that time. And when you have a league, when you're in the UFL, with the off season and off season training camp isn't that long, that goes and there's no preseason that goes into the regular season. As Perez going to throw it right side on a quick hitch route, it's going to pick up the first down and more into plus territory to about the 46. That is Isaiah Winstead on the reception. The whole again, off season training camp isn't that long, no preseason. It makes teams like San Antonio, like Birmingham, like St. Louis has pretty much their entire team from last year. It makes those teams that are finding great success that much more impressive. President shotgun back to his left, the receiver's left, going to hand it off up the middle. Devion Smith is pushing his way forward, gains about 5 on the play. Exactly. But if they can win enough games to where by like the week 5, week 6, that they can fully then, that they look like the DC of old, they're going to be just fine. But they do need to step up a little bit sooner. This would be a good game to win for that. Because like San Antonio is going to be a tough team. They're not going to fall. They're probably going to make the playoffs. And St. Louis is going to be a tough team to knock out as well. So this it's just it might take an extra year as Arlington's going to hand it off once again on 2nd and 4. Gains about 2 yards, maybe a yard to make it 3rd and short. It's DC is definitely a team where next year they have a lot of potential to be a team in the championship, but from the looks at it now, it's I mean they still could. You never know what can happen with any league and all that. It's going to be a lot tougher because again, it's going to take until about week 5, week 6 for the chemistry to fully develop. A 3rd and 3, Perez alone in the backfield in shotgun, going to look to throw in right side down the field and just overthrows his intended target by about like 3 yards to make it 4th down. Oh yeah, this has been. I expected it to be a little more competitive. This was kind of what I expected from this kind of game. Was Arlington to be like in the driver's seat for most of it. DC has played better than I expected. Their defense is leaving a lot to be desired though, and I think because of that, the offense is showing out better than I expected as well. I expected this to be a little more of a lower scoring game, but again, for the most part, it's going good as Arlington's calling their first timeout. They were sending out the field goal unit there for what would have been a long field goal attempt. But they're highlighting some of the coaches as well as Bob Stoops, the Arlington Renegades head coach. Obviously, he showing his Oklahoma highlight of him raising the trophy, and obviously last year's. A win today would be Bob Stoops' 200th career win, which is impressive. At 4th and 3, and from the looks of it, they were sending out their field goal unit. Russolino is on the sideline, so they're keeping the offense on the field now after the timeout. Perez in shotgun, 3 receivers to the right, a back to the right. Ball on the 39-yard line, sending a man in motion to make it 2 receivers each side. Looking to throw, Perez throwing quickly left side, and it's going to be ruled incomplete. He bobbled it a little bit. That was Deontay Burnett, the intended target. Bobbled it a little bit. And DC is going to have a chance once again to tie this game. Down 7. This league is definitely more competitive than the USFL and XFL were last year, and that's because of the merger. I I do still think there are some teams where they leave a lot to be desired in terms of level of play, but they still find ways to be competitive. Like Houston, both of Houston's games this year were very competitive games, but they're still a team where they leave a lot to be desired. To where it's hard for me to truly say that I think they can win. As Tiami was back to pass on 1st and 10, throwing it deep down the field, and just off the fingertips of Kelvin Harmon. A great throw down the field, but just couldn't hang on. There is a flag on the play. So we shall see what this is. Like, I have been truly shocked about the competitiveness of this league for a good chunk of these games. You're obviously going to have those games where they're going to be competitive. But like last week, did not expect Michigan to play Birmingham close. Did not expect Arlington to play St. Louis close. As they're calling pass interference on Arlington, which is going to also cause Arlington to use their challenge. So Arlington now is using their challenge, saying that there was no pass interference on that play. So both challenges today have been used in terms of pass interference. and the replay booth is trying to find. Let's see here. That's close. The defender definitely gets his arm. Oh yeah, he gets his arm on the shoulder. That was a better angle. Gets his arm on the shoulder, kind of pulls him back so he can jump over top to try to deflect it. That looks like it's going to stand as pass interference. Yeah, that's a lot better of an angle for this. Yeah, the defender, get the name here. Darren Evans grabs the right shoulder of Kelvin Harmon and is going to. The challenge is going to fail. So now Arlington is also down to one timeout in a tight game. Uh, I think there could have been a better use of that challenge for Arlington, especially after seeing that other angle where it was a pretty obvious pass interference. Could have been a better use there. Tiamu and shotgun back to his right, three receivers to the right, going to hand it off and slips, loses two, maybe three. Yeah, anytime. I for the most part this season I plan to do every single game play by play. There's one day I know I'm not going to be able to, which is the 27th. So in 2 weeks I won't be able to. But for the most part, I plan to do every single game play by play. It's a way to get me used to this and get into the groove of things for when the NFL season comes around. So thank you for stopping by. Tiamu escaping pressure, just in there instantly and just throws it away. And the O line not playing great. I mean, in the case of week one, where yeah, those games weren't necessarily the most competitive, it still had its moments that can keep your eyes on the league. And I know, Battleflash, as a Battlehawks fan, you're not going to like me bringing this up, but Jake Bates alone gave enough attention to the UFL in week one to where some of the other games not necessarily being competitive didn't matter. As 3rd and 12, ball on the 48, Tiamu and shotgun back to his left. Arlington sending a blitz. Gonna throw it down the field. Man has her step and underthrows him just enough to where he had to do a slight stop, and it's going to be incomplete. Chris Rowland, the intended receiver, had a step on his defender. The ball just didn't get out there enough. And that's an example of this Tiamu not putting enough. It hits off his shoulder. It should have been caught. But if Tiamu would have gotten more into that pass, that could have been an even bigger play. But because he didn't trust the left side of his line, he gets rid of it quick. And DC's going for it on 4th and 12 with 5 minutes left. Tiamu play action, looking to pass. Gonna throw it, and it's going to be incomplete off the face mask of Brandon Smith. So back-to-back plays, Tiamu throws a nice pass. Just could not keep hands of it. Jake Bates is most likely getting calls from the NFL now. Like, still getting calls. Like, from the moment that kick went through, he was probably getting calls from the NFL just to keep in his back pocket. Because, like, no kid, he hits a 64-yarder back to twice in week one, then a 62-yarder and a 58-yarder in week two. I'm most excited for when Michigan finally plays a road game because I want to see him kick outside of a dome. Fine, I won't recognize him as an Arkansas guy. He went to Texas State before Arkansas. I recognize him as that. How about Perez and shotgun back to his right, two receivers to the left. Going to hand it off up the middle. Gains 2, maybe he fought forward for about 3. That was Devion Smith. No, it was Letty Brown on the carry. That's the one thing with Jake Bates is he went to Texas State before transferring to Arkansas and was still just a kickoff specialist there. How? Like, it's his story is gonna be if assuming he has the NFL career a lot of people expect him to have, his story is gonna be a great one to watch later down the line. If you like an NFL films thing. Perez going to hand it off on 2nd and 7 to Letty Brown. Fights forward for about 3 on the play to make it 2nd and 4. And Arlington now is just focusing on killing the clock. 4 minutes left in the game, up 7. A first down will allow them to run it out to pass the 2-minute warning. I just can't believe Michigan got 3 straight home games to begin the season. I've never seen that before. 3rd and 4, Perez looking to throw an outside back shoulder, caught for the first down and more. That is Deontay Burnett under reception of a quick back shoulder wheel. And now Arlington can run this past the 2-minute warning with ease. I would not have blamed Jake Bates if after he kicked that 64-yarder, he said, fuck it, just get me to the NFL already. No more UFL. I'm not going to risk anything. But he's damn impressive. So ball now on the 36-yard line. Present shotgun back to his right. Going to hand it off up the middle. Stuffed for a loss of 1, maybe 2. But again, the clock can still just keep ticking. That was Letty Brown on the carry. DC is calling their second timeout. And the reason why I think the UFL is finding so many underrated and undervalued kickers is because of the way the kickoff is working. They're kicking it off from the 20-yard line. So they need guys with massive legs to get it down the field. So they already find guys who have elite level leg strength. They just so happen to also be finding guys with great accuracy. So I think that's going to be one thing that is going to be overlooked with how the kickoff rule is for the UFL, is that it's going to allow kickers who did not get really a shot in college, but have the monster of a leg to get their shot. And then we might be seeing teams in the NFL carry 2 kickers on the roster, one as a kickoff specialist for the new hybrid style of kickoff, and one to just destroy field goals with ease. But 2nd and 11, Perez and shotgun back to his left with DC calling timeouts, and now makes it tough. They're still going to hand the ball off. Makes people miss in the backfield. Letty Brown gets to about the 31, maybe the 30-yard line. And it's going to be 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 5. DC is calling their final timeout. So they now desperately need a stop here. I mean, it's still going to be a 2-possession game if Arlington makes the field goal, so it'll be a lot tougher. But one more stop here will force Arlington to kick the field goal before the 2-minute warning. I mean, when they announced that they were going to have this style of kickoff, I kind of was disappointed because I'm one of the few who likes the hybrid XFL style because of the amount of return touchdowns we saw. But definitely now that is because it's been given these kickers like Jake Bates a shot, I'm definitely I understand why that I'm starting to respect it a lot more. So yeah, 3rd and 5. Arlington is 13 for 17 on 3rd down today. In shotgun, a back to his right, 3 receivers to the left. A first down pretty much clinches the game. Perez to throw, dumping it off quick to the running back, and he drops it. No one was No one was within like 4 yards of him. He catches that. He's probably able to take it upfield for the first down. Instead, he drops it, and out comes the field goal unit to make it a 10-point game. DC having no timeouts there's still plenty of time left though, even with 2 minutes left. Still plenty of time. We saw with San Antonio last week, all you need is 48 seconds. 49-yard try. Kick is up and good. Gonna be a 10-point game. So now DC's going to they might have the 2-minute warning on offense. We will see how long the kickoff takes. Yeah, Sam, this style of PAT is definitely more interesting because of the way that it can impact games. And the merger was also a perfect decision because there was no reason to have compete in spring leagues for football. So it was like it was a common sense thing to merge the leagues. And so far, it's been pretty successful. For a spring league who had a lot of competition the first 2 weeks when it comes to TV ratings, it did very solid with rating numbers. I think like close to 1 million ratings on the majority of the games. Like they'll take that, especially when competing against WrestleMania last week, competing against the March Madness the first week. So Bob Stoops, the head coach, did not want them to kick that field goal as soon as they did. It seems, which is interesting as the wind knocks the ball off the tee again. Oh yeah, like if they didn't merge, these leagues would not have survived without this merger because there's not enough people who truly want. I mean, there's enough people who want the spring leagues, but two spring leagues competing for ratings and everything is not good for anyone. As this is going to be returned out past the 35, has room to the left side, past the 50, makes another man miss to the 40, down tackle at about the 35-yard line. Chris Rowland with an incredible kick return puts DC in a great spot as we enter the 2-minute warning. Return the ball to about the plus 35-yard line. DC has a real shot to make this game that much to come down to the wire that much more. Because another thing that the merger has allowed the league to do is create that competitiveness just between USFL and XFL even more. Because like you have the Scooby Wright of the Stallions come out and saying after week one, hey, don't fuck with the USFL. Like we the better league and all that. So it's definitely been entertaining from like even week to week thing. What would have killed the UFL was getting rid of the Battlehawks. That would have been the dumbest decision for the merger to make. Because like I if they wouldn't have kept the Battlehawks, man, that would have because I'm because when they're still fighting for it to be profitable like they are now, having a stadium where you can guarantee 35 plus thousand fans in it, I mean that's easy money. But I fucking love that Battlehawks fan base. It makes those games a hell of a lot of fun to watch. Cause not to say like these other games where there's not 40,000 fans aren't fun to watch, But that energy, seeing St. Louis again with a football team and having that energy, there is a part of me that wishes the Rams never left just because of that alone. I think that's what killed the AAF. Because I was a fan. I was also a fan of the AAF when that was a thing in 18. I think might have been 19. One of those two. And they had teams in some of the weirdest cities that didn't really make sense for a team. And they did not have a team in St. Louis. They had a team in Atlanta, in Birmingham, in LA, in Arizona, Orlando. And it was just some like weird locations for teams. And I'm like, there's no need for competing markets like Birmingham and Atlanta. There's no need for that. Yep, it really is popcorn worthy, and I'm excited for when Birmingham plays San Antonio. That's going to be the game to watch, the game of the week for sure. So ball on the plus 35. Tiamu and shotgun back to his right. Great starting field position. Going to play action, look to throw. Tiamu sends it down the field, and the receiver slips, barely not intercepted. Because of the receiver slipping, it overthrows the target by like 5 yards. Chris Rowland, the intended receiver. And yeah, that's just that is not helping the trust between quarterback and receiver. There's been a lot of slipping happening today. I guess that's just kind of the way the field is here. Tiamu alone in 5 wide, throwing it over the middle, and is right through the hands of Brendan Smith. Okay. There is a flag on the play, though, so this could help DC. But back-to-back plays, aren't. The receivers don't. First play, the receiver slipped. Second play, right through his hands. There was that inconsistency again. See, the flag is roughing the passer. So DC is going to get a first down. A roughing the passer call gives DC a fresh set of downs late in this one. Let's see. Come on. I mean, yes, by rule it's roughing the passer, but all he did was like lightly slap him in the back of the head. Stallions Battlehawks as well. Yeah, that's gonna be a good, fun one to watch. It's one thing that's consistent no matter what football league you watch. Roughing the passer calls are bullshit. Stiamu going to keeping himself in a QB draw at the 20, sliding down at about the 15, maybe 14. They need to hurry it up a little bit. A minute 35 left in the game. 2nd and 5. A touchdown gives DC a lot more of a cushion than a field goal. Tiamu and shotgun back to his right. Man sent in motion, going to hand it off, playing the left side. Has some space to run. Tries to cut it up the field. Couldn't really get his proper footing in as Cameron Harris. Only going to gain about 2 on the play, maybe 3. And now, so they said, gain of about 2. A minute left in the game. Tiamu on 3rd and 1. Going to hand it off once again to Cameron Harris. Has space up the middle and fights to the 1-yard line. 1st and goal from the 1. DC needing a touchdown here. Tiamu going to. There's a flag on the play, some stoppage. After what would have probably, I think, looked like it would have been able to get it in the end zone. Is encroachment on Arlington, so it goes to the half-yard line. Yeah, roughing the passer rules. I mean, when you look, I get it when you look at the plays that caused the change in the rules. Brady's ankle injury in 2008. Yes, that was a cheap shot. Aaron Rodgers' collarbone. Yes, it was a cheap shot. as Cameron Harris is going to pound his way up the middle for the touchdown to give DC a 4-point deficit. So they need to get some kind of conversion here to make it a field goal worthy game. Yeah. Brady's 2008 ankle injury. Yes, that was a way late, way too low hit. Aaron Rodgers' collarbone injury in 2018. Anthony Barr went way too high, way too late. I get those should have been roughing the passer. But they take the rule so literally now in both leagues that it ruins the point of roughing the passer. No matter what happens on this conversion try, I think they're probably gonna go for just one to make sure it's a field goal game. I mean, because you think you want to make sure it's a field goal game, so you go for one. If you go for two, you can possibly win it, but if you fail, you then need a touchdown. The safer play is going for one. I wouldn't be shocked if they go for two, though. It's gonna either way. There's 48. We've been in this spot before. 48 seconds left. They're going for two from the 5. So if they convert here, they will be down by 2. Ta'amu looking back to pass. Stepping up in the pocket. Has space to run. Keeps it himself. Jumps in. Dives forward. And it looks like he might have crossed the plane. If not, his old lineman falls on the fumble in the end zone. DC makes it a 2-point game with 48 seconds left. Yeah, he crosses the plane. And yeah, his lineman falls on it anyway in the end zone. So it's a 2-point game. 48 seconds left. We've been in this spot before last week. A 4th and 12 try to keep the game alive. San Antonio was successful last week, but just barely. Now DC needs something here. Only needing a field goal is a lot better than what San Antonio was in last week. But still, it all begins with a 4th and 12. This also guarantees, because it's a 2-point game, it also guarantees no overtime again. I want to see the overtime in the UFL just once. We have 4th and 12. DC's huddling up. This is where you need your best play. And where Ta'amu needs to have some trust in his offensive line. Another rule that I like that the UFL has better than the NFL. The 4th and 12. It makes these late game situations so much more exciting because it's actually possible to get besides an onside kick. So let's see. 4th and 12. Ta'amu in shotgun, back to his left. 3 receivers to the right. Game on the line, looking back to pass. Throw in towards the sticks. It is caught past the 45 to about the 47-yard line. T.Y. Scott on the reception. Breaks off his route kind of weird. The throw is also kind of a lobber, but he had enough separation. DC is moving. Ta'amu looking back to pass. Throwing left side. And barely not intercepted. Has space down the sideline. 2 past the 30. Out of bounds at about the 26. The corner tried to jump the curl route. And just missed the interception. Ta'amu with a beautiful pass to Kelvin Harmon. And ball is now inside the 30. No timeouts left, 31 seconds. Ta'amu handing the ball off. Going to center it, gain an extra yard, and outtrots the field goal unit in a fire drill field goal style. Or I guess they can have time to just spike it. You're going to let the clock run. 10 seconds. And here comes the spike. Spiking it with 4 seconds left. 12 is definitely short. That's why the Eagles have suggested both a 4th and 20 and a 4th and 15. If the NFL ever does adopt it, it'll probably be close to the 4th and 20. But with 4 seconds left, a field goal try to win the game. 44 yards from the right hash, Matt McCrane, to give DC a 2-1 record on the season. And Arlington is calling their final timeout, it seems. No, there's a flag. Delay of game is what's called. DC gets called for delay of game. The coach wanted the play clock reset, but instead delay of game makes it a 49-yard try. 49 yards, right hash. Arlington has their timeout, so we probably are expecting to see an iced kick here. As there's the Arlington timeout. Kind of early, but I get it. It might have been 15 last year in the XFL. I thought it was still 12 though. Can't fully remember. But yeah, they're really delaying this kick as much as they can. Arlington searching for their first win of the season. DC having it's definitely looked a lot better today than they did last week. Third and 14, 49-yard field goal try from the right hash. I think they're going into the wind as well. Snap good, hold is good, kick is up, and it is straight through. DC pulls off an incredible comeback to win this game 29-28. And the UFL continues to be exciting and entertaining with another incredible game. Wow. I mean, Arlington could not have played that much better than what they did. Obviously, you want maybe the kickoff return could have been better. It was 4th and 12 in the USFL last year. For the NFL, at least 4th and 12 is definitely too short. But hey, an incredible game. DC turned it on when they needed to late. And honestly, they're finding the chemistry. There's not much. The only issue Arlington had in that final 2 minutes was that kickoff. Letting them return it to the plus 35 is what lost them this game. But Arlington is not necessarily playing terrible this season. Yeah, week 1 was kind of not really a blowout, but it was a tough one. They lose back-to-back weeks on a game-winning field goal. I mean, there's not much you can really say about like what you need to improve on besides just special teams. Lost last week because of a missed field goal. Lost this week because of a terrible coverage on a kickoff. They got stuff to work on as they're still a search for their first win. DC pulls away a nice one. Yeah, this an incredible game. We got one more today at around 7 p.m., I believe. If I'm not mistaken. 7 p.m. later today. Birmingham has their home opener against Memphis. I will be back here for a play-by-play of that as well. Thank you all for tuning in and for watching. This ended up being a lot better of a game than I expected it to be. Like, yeah, I expected it to be close, but not this high scoring. So it was a lot of fun. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you all later today for Birmingham and Memphis. And yeah, just all momentum shifts late in the game for Arlington. We'll see if they can find a way to work around it. But for now, ESPN switching over to the Alabama spring game. I'm gonna go get food before the game later today. And I'll see. So hope you all return for that one. And I'll see you all at around like 7 p.m. Have yourselves a damn good one.